Hello, this is Anthony. Let's walk and talk. By the way, if you enjoyed this content, please like, share, and subscribe. I'd be grateful. So today we're going to talk about the concept of service to self versus service to others, and what it means, and how it applies to life in terms of your programming and how you were raised, and all the things that when you look at, as we talked about last week, when you look at the distractions, how those distractions program you in, let's just say, specific ways. Now, what do those two concepts mean? Service to others and service to self. Well, on a more simplistic level, people would say that is good versus evil, light versus dark. However, the understanding of that must be understood because it's a bit more nuanced than that. And here's what I mean. When you understand things like service to others, the first thing people think is, oh, I need to go and just serve others because that's the right thing to do, and I want to, I'm going to do that because it just feels like it's the right thing to do. And in some ways that's accurate, but in other ways it can not be accurate. To give you an example, if you choose to do things because you feel an obligation to do things, if you choose to do things because you're trying to get validation or you're expecting something in return, well, the truth is that is not service to others. That's an illusion of service to others. Really what that is the guise of service to others for the purpose of service to self. Here's what I mean by that. Let's say I go out and decide that I'm going to give some food to a homeless person. And while I'm doing it, I take a picture and I post it on social media. Some would say, oh, see, I'm serving others. But a lot of the biblical texts and ancient texts discuss that in detail, and that actually is not service to others. It is actually service to self. And the reason why is because you are looking for something out of that. You're looking for validation. You're looking for something to essentially boost yourself up and to boost the mask that you might wear. Service to others are, for instance, a perfect example would be Mother Teresa. That was true service to others. She did the things that she did, not because she felt obligated, but because she felt desire to do it. She didn't choose to, well, it wasn't the time of social media, but she wasn't out looking for approval and saying, hey, look at what I do. No, she just showed up every day to do the good work. And that is a beautiful thing. It's one thing to have a servant's heart. It's another thing to, take that and twist it and use it for self-promotion. You see, most of the distractions that we find in life today are more service to self than people would think. And the reason why is because, a lot of times people take action and do things based on it being a requirement, and the requirement needs to be met in order to fit or operate within a certain group, maintain a status level, those types of things. It's not truly just because you really want to serve others. It's because there is something tied to that service. And that service is not pure service. I'm not saying, now, when I say these things, I'm not saying that's necessarily a quote-unquote bad thing, because remember, in my world, good or bad is based on how you judge things and how you view things. No, but a true servant's heart requires nothing in return. It's done just for the pure bliss of the joy that your soul feels in serving others and helping others. And that, to me, is the true definition of service to others. To pronounce out to the world or state out to the world the things that you've done in order to somehow elevate yourself in society or in a particular group, to me is much more just a service to self situation under the guise of service to others. And that's the true gray area of these things. You see, I think a lot of people feel like life is just black and white. However, when you really sit back and you look at all the things that surround how we live life and the actions in life, there is a lot more gray than people would be willing to admit, which makes sense if you understand that light is a spectrum. Again, we've talked about that in the past. And if light is truly a spectrum, well, then there is no one side or the other. Duality has a big variety or spectrum of light and range. So I hope this helps you in your journey. But what say you? How do you feel about that concept? I'm curious. In the meantime, peace, love, light. I hope you have the most amazing day until I talk to you again.